overtime, and certainly for Wolves fans, you were looking at that and thinking 42, 43 yards, you got to be kidding me. But they nail it, and that does send it to overtime. So we will have a coin flip here to begin overtime once again.
Now
the players aren't sure how to do this either.
Yeah, I think admittedly everybody's a little confused at this point. Like you said, we don't always see overtime. I'm doing some quick searching on the web, and I see in arena football, it's like NCAA rules where each team gets a possession. If neither scores, then it becomes sudden death after that. So that's a little different than college. But as it stands, each team should get a chance.
And I'm sure the referees will come out and explain this, because I imagine this is one of those rules that the fans aren't real familiar with either. And frankly, I'd be a little bit surprised if the coaching staffs were real up on exactly what the rule is, given that that's one of those things that has a tendency to change from year to year, and nobody pays much attention to it because, frankly, it doesn't come up very often, and so you don't really care. But it looks like that is correct. It looks like they're going to spot the football.
Yeah, did they signal who won the toss?
I did not see who won the toss, but it looks like, however it is, I presume, well, actually, if the Wolves won the toss, assuming that we're correct, and each team gets a possession, you obviously want to start with the possession going second.
Right. And it looks like the Wolves have their offense out, so they will start with it at the 20-yard line. And again, it's Britt in at quarterback. Made a nice touchdown throw earlier to Jamel Johnson. What a first game.
Couldn't ask for anything more, Mike. It was a heck of a way to spend a Sunday afternoon. No question about that.
Let's see what they go on 1st and 10. Britt looking straight to the end zone. Nearly got his man.
Looking for the flag.
Yeah, he looked like he may have had the jersey held a little bit there.
And well beyond the 5-yard threshold there, but don't see any flags coming out. So,
and that was Demetrius McNeil again on the coverage. He's been all over the place. Out of Auburn University, an SEC guy, also with some NFL experience.
Yeah, he was there early too, but no flag coming out. So it will be 2nd and 10 for the Wolves. Obviously, with that clock turned off, then not much question. You're almost certainly going. Well, I guess you might figure the field goal, although after that last one, as Britt drops back, he's going to take off, try and get it on his own.
Ooh, a flashy move from Britt as he gets the first down all by himself. A 12-yard gain, make it 13, down to the Titans' 7-yard line. What a play from Britt. That's the difference between him and Taylor Jenison right there.
That's exactly right. No, we've said that a couple of times this afternoon. That, he's not the biggest guy in the world, and Jenison may have a little bit of a bigger arm, but there are certain things as far as nimble feet, and they are so important in the indoor game. That's what he brings to the table.
So here we go. 1st and goal from the 7. They go with Theron Allen Jr. Gain of 2.
I'm just waiting to see when they bring big Chris Turner in here and put him into the backfield on the heavy package and see if he can't just barrel into the end zone, speaking of SEC guys.
Yeah, that would be smart. They're at the 5 now with 2 chances.
2 chances before they have to decide what they want to do. And as I mentioned a couple of times, they haven't done it a ton. They did do it in the scrimmage. They run that drag pattern across the back of the end zone with those big bodies. Keep an eye on it right now because Walton and Johnson are both on the same side in the inside.
Britt looks for Allen, and we have a flag.
The yardage there, not necessarily that big a deal, as assuming this will go on the defense. What is a huge deal is with the clock not a factor, if you move this down inside, now, are they going to call this on the offense?
Number 5.
Looks like the Titans are pleading that the
result automatic first down.
So it's a fresh set of downs for the Wolves. The Titans pleading that the ball was tipped, which is why they initiated contact.
And as soon as the ball's tipped, you can do whatever you want.
Right,
Basically,
right.
It's open season at that point.
Let's see if it was tipped. No,
I don't see
not
it
from
tipped.
that angle.
Nope,
yeah,
I don't see a tip there.
Looked like it. All right, let's see.
Therefore, there can be no pass interference. Results, Third down.
That's a huge change.
So they rule it was tipped. So instead of 1st and goal from inside the 5, it becomes, is this a
Well, it's going to be it's going to be 3rd down. It'll be incomplete pass. They had the run on 1st down, and then
it looks like they switched it to 2nd down, which
now wait a minute here. They're going to have to sort this out because obviously at this point in the ball game, this is a huge call. And I don't know that I've ever seen.
I think
they've got it sorted out. I don't know that I've ever seen this happen in an IFL game where you've got a call that's made on the field and it's announced to the fans. They move the football. Now they figure out where to move back.
Now they switched it back to 3rd down, which we believe is the correct.
I think that's
down.
right.
Yeah,
no, that's right. Assuming that they ruled that the 2nd down pass incomplete
instead of the flag. So an unfortunate turn of events for the
Wolves
Wolves there.
Do. Wow, okay.
So back where we started, 3rd and goal from the 5. Britt, he wanted to run, but he throws it
all by himself.
And Walton in the end zone, his 2nd touchdown of the day, and the Wolves have a 6-point lead, 37-31. Pending the extra point, it could be a 7-point game.
And this place absolutely erupted because they've seen that so many times. And that's the other thing that you get from Britt is he starts to run, and because of the threat of the run, the whole defense just comes right towards him. As long as he doesn't cross the line of scrimmage, all of a sudden you got a whole bunch of guys wide open in the back of the end zone. He just lobs it over the defensive backs, and Saturday night goes up on Sunday afternoon and pulls it down.
And the extra point is good from Shamrud. So now the Wolves put the pressure on the Titans as James Walton scores in the end zone. A savvy play from Britt. He had some room to run.
Watch this. He comes up and he stops about 3 yards short of the line of scrimmage, and there is nobody in the frame. I mean, if you look at it, he is all by himself back there. That's the easiest pitch and catch you're ever going to see. Thankfully for the Wolves, it comes with a tie ball game in overtime.
And James Walton doing his touchdown celebration I'm back dance. Yeah. So now the pressure is on the Titans. They need a touchdown and an extra point, or this game is over. They will go the same way from right to left, starting at the 20-yard line. And the fans starting to get back on their feet as the Wolves just a defensive stop away from win number 1. And how fitting would it be if James Walton, the former Outlaws star, is the game winner?
There would be a certain symmetry to that, wouldn't there? Did not play in the scrimmage, but did show up for this one, and he has showed up big tonight, no question about it.
All right, they go back out to Healy, who we haven't seen a whole lot of, at least as much in the second half. Gain of about 4.
The spot on this one's going to be interesting because he went forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards.
Looks like they gave him a pretty friendly forward progress spot, about 4.5 yards on that gain for Ely, who has really been doing everything for them. Washawn Ely, 5'11", 225. He played, like we mentioned, for the Bulldogs of the University of Georgia. He has been a big part of their attack today. It looked like they got away from him a little bit in the 3rd quarter there, but with the game on the line, I think that's the guy you want to give it to.
Well, I think you're kind of getting to that part of the game where you got to dance with the one you brung, and he has done a lot of damage today, and they're gonna ride him as long as he keeps getting 4 and 5 yards a pop.
2nd and a long 5. Durley was looking to throw, but found a gap, and there he goes to the right side, and a gain of about 8, and a 1st down for the Cedar Rapids Titans inside the Billings Wolves 10-yard line. Mark it about the 8.
And there you see what you can do. You can give yourself up. And that's how you have to do it. You stick the ball over the sideline. Little bit curious that he would do that there, really, because there was a little more room. Now, is he going to take a shot? Yeah, he is going to take a shot. On the other hand, you might very well be able to spin off there, get into the end zone. Then again, there's no clock. So the time is totally irrelevant. You give yourself up on the outside. You know it's 1st and goal inside the 10. You can kind of go back to the drawing board and see if you can tie this bad boy up, and we'll go from there.
All right, here we go. You want drama? You got it. 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Titans looking to equalize this one and send it into double overtime. Durley fakes it, throws, and it's a touchdown for the Titans. Sam Durley across to, who was that? Brian Prey, who had a touchdown earlier, and he sort of disappeared, but he was the big gun coming in. He shows up when they need him most. as the Titans now an extra point away from tying this one.
Or a 2-point conversion away from winning. And I think they're going to take their time out and they're going to discuss it on the sideline over there, because this is what I talked about earlier. At home you play for the tie, on the road you play for the win. We'll see whether or not the Titans elect to follow that philosophy. As you see, this one just rifles it over the middle, and Prey just settles down in the back of the end zone. Frankly, not that different than the play that the Wolves ran a few moments ago.
Yep.
Durley not moving the same way. He was just kind of hanging out in the pocket, but nevertheless, wide open in the back of the end zone, probably within a foot or two of where Walton caught his. Looks like they are going to set up for the extra point. Now, the million-dollar question is going to be, are they going to go ahead and kick it?
Do you see a lot of fake kicks in the IFL?
Not a whole lot, and obviously he did make a 42-yarder earlier. On the other hand, he did shank the first extra point of the game. So, whether or not you've got blind faith, because that's that factors in as well. If you're going to go ahead and kick the extra point here, you better make it. Otherwise, you're going to be going out, and it's going to be a long bus ride back to Iowa.
Well, here it is, Rockne Belmont with the game on the line once again. He hit the 40-plus yarder to send it to overtime. Now he can send it to double overtime with just a simple extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
I can't tell, but I can tell from the crowd reaction.
Exactly. That's why I said it was good. I didn't even see a signal. I just didn't hear any cheers.
Yep.
So we are tied at 38, heading to a second overtime. More extra football for the fans here at the Rimrock Auto Arena, and of course, all of our wonderful viewers on SWX. It's the first of many Wolves games we'll have on this year. We'll have every home game, and what a treat we've had in the first one as it comes down to this extra point to keep the game going.
You see, not a very good snap, and they do get it down. Boy, that wasn't good by much.
Oh, my goodness. That was really close.
Yeah, just that's happened several times, especially at this end of the stadium, that it seems that they've snuck in that left upright several times. But as it is, they will move it back just a little bit.
Gosh, from that angle, there's an argument to be made on both sides.
Yeah, I think there is. No,
I'm sure it looked different from the straightaway angle, but wow, couldn't get much closer than that.
Keep in mind, the Wolves coaching staff has an even worse angle than we do. So
right.
Now General Manager Mark Burr is standing right underneath that crossbar. So I suppose probably if there was an argument to be made, he'd be making it.
Yeah, he doesn't look too fired up right now,
Yeah.
so I guess it was a good kick. So here we go, 38-38. Doesn't look like we have a second coin toss. They just
we'll
switch
flip.
it back.
What we're going to do is flip ends, and it'll be Cedar Rapids football.
Okay, so Cedar Rapids will start with
They'll
it.
start with it, and then the Wolves will get it and have the opportunity to match or win or whatever it is that they want to do. And depending on how this shakes out, I can tell you there is a little bit of riverboat gambler in Coach Dixon. So I would anticipate, obviously, you hope you get a turnover or something like that here. Maybe you go ahead and kick the field goal under those circumstances. But if it comes down to it, I would look for him to give these fans what they want and go for two.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Titans. Durley slings it to Ely. Maybe just his first or second catch of the day. 8.5, 9-yard gain it looked like there. Let's call it 9,
And a nice job by Chris Turner coming back from his defensive line position there to run that down from behind.
Personal foul, roughing the passer,
Laundry on the
defense
field.
number 19. Penalty being enforced half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
A big penalty there. It's going to be roughing the passer on somebody else on the defensive line. That may have actually been on Daniels as he was coming through on that delayed blitz. Because it's inside 20 now, and they're actually inside the 15, it will be half the distance to the goal. So 1st and goal for the Titans just outside the 5.
Well, a big play there as the Titans are very quickly right in scoring position just outside the 5-yard line in a hurry. So now if they score here, they put the pressure on the Wolves to answer themselves, whereas in the first overtime it was the opposite. We'll see if they can finish the drive out here on 1st and goal. Durley pitches it to Ely, who goes back left and then back right. Nothing doing. The Wolves swarm it for a loss of about 2. Big play there for the black and red.
And that's one of the things that Hempel brings you from that defensive back position. He's basically playing safety, and you'll see him eventually come in from the right side here as Eli kind of moves around a little bit, and then Hempel comes in from that free safety position that big 6'5" body able to come in there and take Helly to the ground, back him up just a little bit. Still second and goal inside the 10, but it's second and goal outside the 7 rather than inside the 6.
Yeah, they'll take it. So here we go. We'll see if they dial up something for the end zone or if they're still going to try to chip away because, like you said, a little breathing room here, so it could be beneficial for the Titans. They go back to Ely on the outside. He goes down the right side and looks to be just short. Oh, and it's ruled a touchdown. Touchdown Cedar Rapids as Ely gets in on the right side pass, and they have the lead, 44-38. Pending an extra point, could be a 7-point game. Little juke move there from Ely. That was close.
Yeah, but the knees were on top of the defender there. That's the downside of going down low, but obviously with a 245-pound back, if you try and go up high, it probably doesn't make any difference. The only difference is you're on your back in the end zone as well as the football.
He's on top of you in the end zone, exactly. So here we go, Belmonte on for the extra point to put the pressure on the Wolves.
Again, it's not a great snap, but they do get it down. The kick is up, and it is good. I thought I heard a whistle before the ball was actually snapped, but I guess not.
So
and
here
you can
it is.
see here, as the defense at the back goes down low, and you kind of have to with that body, but watch where his knees end up.
Yeah.
His hand is down, but his elbow's not.
Right.
Before the ball crosses the goal line, his knees are on top of the defender. So I think that's the right call because his elbow is the first thing that hits the ground, and that's in the end zone along with the football. So the right call, I think, made there by the officials as much as it'll be disappointing to Wolves fans.
Oh, but they got a chance here to answer as they're 20 yards away from tying this back up. But as it stands, Cedar Rapids with the 45-38 lead. It's funny, in 2 games, the Titans actually averaging 48 points, but they needed 2 overtimes to get to just 45. So really a great effort overall today from the Wolves defense. But as you mentioned earlier, Dave, eventually points will be scored. That's just the way it works when you're playing on a 50-yard field. So here's Britt back out at quarterback. Pressure's on. Swings it down to Jamel Johnson just outside the 15-yard line. Well, actually right on the 15-yard line.
Forward progress right to the 15. So second down and 5. Just a quick hitch here. Just going to take what the defense is giving you. He just doubles over on top of that football, and that's a good job there getting to the 15-yard line. So second down and 5 for the Wolves as they will try and move it down the field here, get themselves into whatever position they want to start taking shots at the end zone, and then if they can get in, decision time for Coach Dixon and his staff.
So second and 5. Britt this time even quicker to Johnson, who was right in front of an official who was partly involved on the tackle there. Johnson gets thought he had gotten at least a yard, but it looks like they mark it as no gain.
A little bit of a curious call there because you're throwing it into the short side of the field, and there's not a lot of room over there. They do get it out there very quickly, but you can see the official right there. You've got maybe a hold down the field on the Wolves as well.
Yeah.
But 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders there as well. Not a lot of room to operate on that side of the field. So you wonder if maybe they're not doing that to run a fake to this side or something on the next play and work the wide side of the field.
Let's see. Yeah, now he's looking that way. Looking end zone and throws it way over the end zone. Britt does. So now the pressure's on. A fourth and 5. Can't kick it. You need 7. What does Coach Dixon draw up for this offense? That last play still a bit of a head scratcher there to Johnson.
Yeah, a little bit curious on that one. I mean, I understand the call on that one, just not very well executed by Britt as he just threw that one a little bit high. But Walton across the back there, a play that Outlaw fans especially and now Wolves fans have seen more than once in this building, both ends of this building. And I think we're going to call fourth down and ball game. Probably a wise call here by Coach Dixon to take a timeout, make sure everybody's on the same page, since obviously if you're not, that's going to be ball game. So,
so the next play will decide if this game continues or if it ends. The Wolves right now with their backs against the wall. 4th and 5 just from the 15-yard line, though, so anything can happen. But they need the touchdown plus the extra point, which are certainly not a given, to force a third overtime.
Well, and keep in mind, I mean, this is one of those things that, Britt's done it a couple of times already tonight where, he's done it a couple of times on design runs as well, but on broken down plays where he's able to run up the middle or hit the corners and not necessarily get big yardage, but get enough yardage to get you to the sticks and get you a fresh set of downs. That's, one of those things that, we've talked about it a number of times today. I think Coach Dixon really likes what he sees in this young man. Certainly he's young, he's inexperienced, he's going to make some mistakes, and those are things you're simply going to have to live with as far as growing pains with a young quarterback. But, boy, there have been some dynamic plays made by him today as well, and they need at least one more.
Here we go. Yeah, we'll see if he gives Britt a chance to make a decision or make some moves with his feet. Already a little bit of confusion for the Wolves. Now they got it locked up, and here we go. Britt's got pressure coming his way, gets rid of it for Johnson. He was swarmed by McNeil, but there's no call, and it's the ball game. The Cedar Rapids Titans defeat the Billings Wolves 45-38. They needed 2 overtimes to get it done, and Coach Chris Dixon is fired up. The officials work their way off the field in a hurry. They let them play it out. Pretty aggressive defense there. What'd you see, Dave?
That's a tough call. I mean, at some level, you want the referees to kind of let the players decide it on the field, and obviously, we've seen that happen in championship games in football at both the professional and major college level. You remember back to 2001, the phantom interference call against Miami when they were playing Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl, and there's just as much complaint if you do throw the flag. So, officials in a tough spot there. Certainly a call that could have been made. I don't think you would have had a lot of complaint had they thrown the flag either. Certainly Cedar Rapids at this point is going to say that was a great call.
I would agree.
But I think that those are tough. At some level, the referee, when I was playing, I always wanted them to kind of let us play it out. You never want the officials to get too involved and decide ball games. On the other hand, they have thrown the flag on a lot less contact than that at times tonight. The other thing you want as a player is you do want them to call it consistently beginning to end. If you're not going to call that in the fourth quarter, don't call it in the first quarter.
That's the thing, a very tough call to end the game. And the Billings Wolves coaches, you can kind of see them. The players are obviously in disbelief, but the coaches look almost just as frustrated. They really laid it all out there. I mean, you got to credit Cedar Rapids, though. They, for every punch the Wolves brought, they answered right back, and it's the Titans who end up on top at the end. As you see, several players in the middle of the field will gather now for a prayer. Of course, it's all good and fun. They are still playing a game, but for the Wolves, a tough way to open up their 2015 season at home as now they drop to 0-2. Coming up after the break, we will hear from Coach Chris Dixon right after this. So do I need...
Check, check, 1, 2. It was a hard-fought battle, but we lost. Check, check, 1, 2. Testing, testing. All day long, testing while I sing the testing song.
Hello, hello, hello. Yo, yo, yo. Okay, so one of us needs to go to this post-game thing because there's not going to be anybody in there. So should we send Dave down? Do we even know where it is? Below the Bud Light sign down there. 30 seconds. So you want to work your way down there, I guess, and maybe try and chime in some questions. So do I just toss it to the post-game thing or what? So I just keep talking? All right, I can do that. We'll let Dave work his way down there. and I'll just fill it in. Do we have final stats by chance? I don't know who's next. All right. So back here at the Rimrock Auto Arena, where for the first home game for the Billings Wolves, not a good finish. Wolves fans leaving unhappy. A 45-38 double overtime decision to the Cedar Rapids Titans. It drops the Wolves to 0-2 on the year. Not a good way to go into a 2-week stretch of road games next week at Bemidji, Minnesota. Then the following, they go to Sioux Falls, a team which Wolves coach Chris Dixon has a lot of history with. Of course, he won a couple championships here as a part of the Billings Outlaws, then went over to Sioux Falls and won 3 more championships. So that'll be quite a homecoming there for Coach Dixon. Then they will return home. But for the Wolves, just looking for that first victory as this one came down to the very end. Let's take another look. In overtime, the Wolves with a 4th and 5 play to keep it going. Britt, the quarterback, looking for Jamel Johnson. McNeil from Cedar Rapids on the defense. Some contact there. The Wolves coaches were certainly not happy about that at all. There is no flag on the play. There's an argument to be made on both sides. As you see in a lot of sports, officials oftentimes just let them decide the game, let the players decide the game, as opposed to the officials deciding the game. But I don't know if there would have been a lot of disagreement. Well, of course, the Wolves fans would have loved the flag. But like we said, there could have been a call, there could not have been a call. The way it works for tonight, not in the Wolves' favor as they drop it 45-38. We are currently getting set up for post-game comments. Mike Stephenson here, Dave Sibley working his way down into the media room where we will hear from, I would assume, a little bit of a frustrated head coach Chris Dixon, who again, of course, made his mark here in the Magic City as a really good player. Now bringing him back as a coach. First game at home, a pretty great crowd who really got fired up down the stretch there as the Wolves went back and forth with the Titans. 45-38, it ends up a Cedar Rapids win as the Titans move to 2-1 on the year. Wolves 0-2. Again, we will hear from Chris Dixon right after this. Okay. Oh, okay. So are we going to have it? Friday night. So what do I say that of why we didn't get this? What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say about this? What am I supposed to say about this? What am I? So no post game. Well, unfortunately, Coach Chris Dixon and the boys maybe a little too fired up to talk about the game at this point. They are nowhere to be found as far as post-game comments go, and I know I teased it before the last 2 commercial breaks that we'd hear from him, and I'm sure you really wanted to hear from him, but I guess we're going to have to let him cool down a little bit. Again, this is our first regular season broadcast of the Billings Wolves here on SWX. We have plenty more to go. Of course, the Wolves hit the road the next 2 weeks. They will return to Billings on April 3rd as they host the Colorado Ice. We will have that game. It's a Friday night matchup, 7 o'clock on SWX. come make it out here. This is a lot of fun, a great environment as indoor football has now officially returned to Billings. The Wolves dropped their opener, home opener, 45-38, but it was an exciting atmosphere, and we saw some great plays and certainly a lot of potential out of Chris Dixon's Billings Wolves. So again, one last time, the Cedar Rapids Titans come in and spoil the Billings Wolves home opener, 45-38, the final. For Dave Sibley, I'm Mike Stephenson. Thanks to our entire SWX production crew. We'll see you next time, April 3rd. Until then, good night, everybody.